Hello guys, how's it going? So today, we've got some 2v2. I have actually cast a 2v2 before on this channel. Maybe once? Maybe there was two 2v2s. Well, either way, look, here's another one. This is going to be fun, right? So, we got Adila playing the Farseer. We got Crisis playing as the FC on the red team. And then on the blue team, I don't even know who the fuck these guys are. Hold on. I can find out. I ain't restarting this now. I'm gonna find out. Let's have a look. Who we got? Oh no, this is exciting. Can you believe? Drum roll, please. Drum roll. Oh, don't have the soundboard. Oh well. We'll figure it out together. It's all good. All right. It's Rain and it's Sky, and I don't know who is who. Shit. Well, look, Rain has to be the Eldar, and Sky Silver has to be the Tech Marine, because Sky Silver always plays the Tech Marine. Sky Silver plays the Tech Marine so much that when he plays the Force Commander, I scream, "Where is the blessings of the Omnissiah?" That is how much this boy plays the goddamn Tech Marine. Anyway, let's focus on the 2v2. So, this is a really interesting map, because one of the players gets to be really aggressive and put on VP pressure, and then the other player is in charge of defending all the gens, which is so cool. It creates a really nice mechanic of the gameplay. So this player for the red team, god, this is confusing as fuck. So Cry here is the aggressive player for the red team, and then the aggressive player for the blue team is Sky Silver. So interesting, the Space Marines are putting on the VP pressure, and the Eldar are in charge of defending the gens. Not really ideal. And Sky Silver right now is finding himself in a little bit of an awkward position. No upgrades yet on his scout. Ooh, he just gets a scout sergeant. He goes for that nade spike, but fortunately Adila is privy to it and is able to dodge and force off his troops. So the gens are safe for now. Now this is a bit unfortunate on this side. Cry is the one meant to be putting on pressure, but it seems that Blood Rain is actually putting on quite a lot of pressure himself, decapping Cry's natural requisition point. In fact, decapping both the natural requisitions. The only other requisition is this one all the way over here, which is very, very difficult to decap. The equivalent for the blue team is over on this side. Now we've got units moving all over the place, doing a little bit of skirmishing. You see that Cry has actually sent his FC over this side at some point to decap the natural wreck there before he is forced off by some of Sky Silver's shotgun scouts. Now, Blood Rain has to back off to defend their territory and is going after the mid. He pushed up with his Farseer against the gen farms. I don't know what he was doing there. It's probably not going to be that successful trying gen bash to the Farseer, and it means that Cry has finally been able to get out of his base with his tacs and his scouts, and he is capping up his side of the map. Now the reason why he was pushed off early is because he's gone for fast ASM, whereas Sky Silver has actually gone for upgrades on his scouts, and we're not seeing any ASM from him. I suspect we probably will not see any ASM from him, given the quantity of upgrades that he's got on his scouts. I think this will make Sky Silver's army probably very annoying when it starts scaling and constantly these scouts can infiltrate and start decapping these VPs. That could be very important in this game. Now, you see, in team games, I find that VPs are way more important than 1v1. You get some crazy stalemates in the end game of team games, where you've both got like P-devs, you've got D-cannons, just talking about Space Marines and Eldar in particular, and none of you can often end up capturing the neutral point. And then you've got Land Raider Redeemers on each side. It's just a nightmare pushing. So instead, you're constantly going for decaps, and you're just trying to win the game on VPs there. That's where these infiltrated scouts can come in. Now we actually see a really nice push from Cry here. Uses For the Emperor on his scouts to buff their damage, and he's going for a nice gen bash here while the ASM delay, but the double scouts from Sky Silver get rid of the ASM. The Shuriken does need to rotate to protect itself from the Guardians. Actually leaves itself in a precarious position right now. If they fleet forward, that could be a problem. Now we see some forces coming back out from Blood Rain to try and stop this gen bash. The Banshees are getting battered though, because there is a Force Commander here who's used Battlecry to buff up the damage of both the attacks and the scouts. Wow, this is a really bad situation for Blood Rain. Furthermore, it looks like the scouts, where are the scouts for Sky Silver? They got forced off, as did Bloodrain's Shuriken, by these Guardians. So now Adila and Cry are putting on some huge pressure here onto the gen farms. Lots of gens were built here by the blue team, and they're all getting taken down. Meanwhile, the 6th final gen is coming up for the red team, and they have a node on this contested power, so the economy of the red team is doing really well. As I'm looking at this game right now, this looks really bad for the blue team. I don't know how they stay in this. This is quite impressive. So full bash on the top, even getting the node. Now the attacks have to fall out, they're very low on HP. I suppose there could always be some sneaky wipes from Sky Silver here with his shotgun scouts. You see, this is a problem, ambushing the Guardians in the middle because the range is out there and Adila has not seen it. He is instantly going to gib one of those Guardian squads. Now there is a threat to the other Guardian squad because there is a retreat grenade coming in. See what that retreat grenade does. Absolutely nothing, doesn't even kill a single Guardian. Well, that was lucky for Adila. Ranger's in the wrong position there, but I suppose he figured that the Gem Bash was more important and would rather keep his Rangers there in case these scouts came to help Blood-Rain stop the Gem Bash, but they didn't. We're not seeing the best grenades here. Blue team not very good with their grenades at the moment, probably both quite rusty. I don't know how frequently Blood-Rain is playing at the moment. So they red team actually get the entire Gem Bash, taking out all 6 generators for the blue team, but now they're replacing it with 3 generators coming back down. And the red team, understandably, are going to tier 2 first. Let's have a look at the power incomes. So yeah, red team pretty far ahead on power. Man, they are so far ahead. Blue team haven't even started their tier 2 tech yet. Red team have nearly got enough power for walkers, for crying out loud. They are way ahead. This is really impressive for blue team to even stay in this. I don't know how they're going to do it, but trust me, they do, because this is a long replay. Let's find out. So a good bit of VP pressure coming on from blue team though. I suppose red team really did commit. Oh, beautiful kinetic pulse into a grenade there from Adila. Adila, the king of grenades, showing you how it's done. All 3 scouts dying there except from the sergeant himself. Masterclass in grenade shenanigans. But yeah, it looks like the red team were kind of losing the tier 1 engagements quite a lot, so they went behind on VPs a little bit, and then they push forward, and when the blue team... So, I'm getting the teams wrong all the time. It's so confusing that the red team are on the right on the UI, but on the left on the map. Right. Cry and Adila, they pushed up really hard for the gen push, and then they had to do a mass retreat, and when they did, Sky Silver came out with his scouts, and they actually got a brief triple cap, which has put the VPs in a decent position for them. They clawed back a lot of the VPs, but now things are going to change again. Well, maybe not actually. Red team are taking a long time to get out on the field here. I guess they're kind of waiting for the Wraith Lord of Adila to come out. Do we see any other upgrades to the Force Commander? We don't, but we see the Ace. We see a drop pod coming in with some tactical marines. Now this drop pod is probably going to result in some Stern Guard coming out, I imagine. Given that there is already a Flamer here, I do doubt that he's going to upgrade those ones. The Exarch does come in for the Blood-Rain Banshees, but a little bit too late. They're a bit too injured. Sky Silver deciding not to fight on that front there, potentially risking the team's gen farms, but he's actually going to go for a bit of a counter bash potentially with his infiltrated scouts. So it's just Cry on this side. Adila has decided to stay back. He's going to push the VP and the natural requisition. There's a bunch of mines laid out here by Sky Silver. It's going to delay him quite a lot. It's actually snaring the Wraith Lord. It's like the scouts for Sky Silver have actually opted to go for decaps at this point, so they're focusing more on requisition and less on power, which is interesting. I suppose they already know that they're so far behind on power. But we're seeing a really interesting play here from Cry, skipping basically all of his tier 2. He only got a sergeant there, and he isn't even getting Stern Guard. He's going straight to tier 2, and you'll notice that his FC is completely naked, no upgrades at all. That would suggest to me that he's probably trying to rush a Terminator Force Commander, who you then can give a Flamer, and, well, 2,500 heavy infantry teleporting HP that can retreat. It's very hard to constantly deal with that when it keeps charging at your gen farms. So they'll probably try and go for that TFC on the back of the Wraith Lord of Adila, and then try and keep the gens of Blood Rain and Sky Silver gone for the rest of the game. But that's going to be tough because they've given them enough time here by going for this tier 3 tech that Blood Rain's got his Falcon out and Sky Silver has got his Dreadnought out. Now if they get a really good engagement here where they actually fight together, they should be able to isolate this Wraithlord and take it out, and then they can push forward and get the attack on the gens, which will very much keep them in the game. So this could be very much why this game goes to where it's going. We see the TFC is coming in, but it might be a little bit too late, and he needs to make sure his FC doesn't die. Still a threat here from the Farseer. One more attack. Okay, it's fine. Terminator Force Commander is here. You know, this is a bit of a weird 2v2 because honestly the players are kind of fighting it like it's a pair of lanes. They're not really fighting together. Fully upgraded Tech Marine now for Sky Silver. We're seeing the Melter Gun, the Artificer Armor, and the Refractor Field. So it can put on a little bit of pressure onto that Wraithlord, but it's not a great position here. You've got missile attacks from Cry and the Power Fist, which is on that Terminator Force Commander. It's too much shit here. There's no way that Cry can deal with this just with his Dreadnought. He's doing well with his scouts though, getting a nice little gem bash off. Guardians should be coming back out soon, able to deal with that. At some point, Adila did lose a Guardian. Yeah, that was in the middle. I remember now. Grenades go out. Ooh, Banshees nearly walk on top of it, but they do react in time, so that's good. But you know what? Sky Silver's doing a really good job with the VPs, constantly keeping this VP cap. So I feel like Cry and Adila have been winning a lot of the engagements, but they're not really ahead in VPs, only by a very small amount. And even now, they get their natural VP back, but Blood Rain is back out again with his Farseer fleeted into the mid, decapping that central VP for the blue team. So both the red team players in this instance moving over, trying to get the snipe on the Dreadnought, but you know what, Sky Silver was privy to it, he didn't waste any time, he got his Dreadnought back and kept his cool. So he's still in this, but now he needs to regroup with Blood Rain to hold the mid, because both of the forces of the red team are now blobbed together and are going to be very hard to deal with on their own. Blue team kind of need a little bit more time as well, because they're very low on power. A really nice attack here from the blue team, sorry, from the red team. Adila's Warp Spiders moving in and getting a Haywire onto the Dreadnought, whilst the Farseer of Adila casts Doom onto it, making the For the Emperor missile attacks do even more damage, in tandem with the Wraithlord and the Howling Banshees, and unfortunately that is a dead Dreadnought. Blood Rain nowhere there to support, unfortunately. I mean, I don't really know where Sky pushed down in this direction. He would have been much safer pushing in this direction after he was so cautious with his Dreadnought before. I find that so surprising. So Sky Silver calling in some Tactical Marines, which he's going to instantly retreat, starts the Sergeant upgrade, so he's probably getting some Stern Guard on them, and we see a bit of a proper 2v2 fight here. Both of the scouts blobbed up though, unfortunately, and they are actually going to be caught by the rune armor of Adila's Farseer, utilizing that Psychic Storm, suppressing both of the scouts and forcing them off. Blood Rain and Sky Silver very much committed to staying in tier 2 at this point. We don't actually see a Flamer Terminator Force Commander, we see a Lightning Claw Force Commander. I find that a little bit questionable. There's not really that much big scary melee threats. There is now a Plasma Gun, Tactical Marine squad, and soon to be some Stern Guard as well, who can put on a lot of pressure against that Terminator Force Commander. Double missile attacks coming out from Cry, but honestly they're kind of just bleeding at this point. Trying to put on a bit of pressure against the Falcon, but it's just not going to work. I'm not really entirely sure why they're staying around. There's too much melee here. They're just going to bleed. Tech Marine doing some great work here. Because the Tech Marine has fire on the move, the Wraithlord simply cannot get away. Tying him up in melee with a Farseer isn't good enough to stop him shooting if he forces melee onto the Wraithlord. So the Wraithlord found itself in a position there where it was basically doomed to die and could not get out. So you're seeing the red team's forces are slowly dwindling. We see Vanguard veterans coming out for Cry now. So he's been bleeding quite a lot of his attacks, and he's paid quite a substantial amount of resources to get the Lightning Claw Terminator Force Commander. Now he's paid for Vanguard Veterans. This means that he's never really had the opportunity to get Terminators or Predators, which honestly I feel like they would have been the highest impact choices here for him. We'll have to see how this Lightning Claw Terminator actually fares, but as it stands right now, Red Team are pushed back into their base, and it is a 2-0 cap in favour of the Blue Team, who now have managed to accrue just enough resources to start going towards Tier 3, or at the very least, Blood-Rain has. Vanguard Veterans moving in kind of in isolation here and kind of getting wrecked by the combined forces of the Autark, the Farseer and the Banshees. Bit of a mistake on Cry's end, he has not used Battlecry with his Lightning Claw Terminator, which would cause constant knockback. The special on the Lightning Claw Terminator, I don't know if it tracks or not, but basically it's really long range, and it would send the Banshees flying so they couldn't do all the damage that they did to the Vanguards. This fight here was definitely not in favour of Cry, in spite of having more elite troops. Look at that, having to reinforce 3 Vanguard Veterans, it's really not ideal. But you do see the power of the Terminator Force Commander, ripping these Banshees to pieces, though he does need to get out fairly soon. He's getting very low, he's probably going to go down, to be honest. No, he still had his teleport. See, that's the annoying thing, he just teleports out of melee and then he retreats. If only Terminators could do that, eh? They'd be insane. I really find this choice of Warp Spiders very interesting from Adila. Obviously the Haywire into Doom did manage to get rid of the Dreadnought, but Warp Spiders in 3v3 or 2v2, I don't know, man. They just don't scale very well, because they're so fragile and so expensive. Any of the big army versus army fights they're awful in, and they basically can't do anything to Terminators because they're super heavy infantry. It's when you really wish you had Dark Reapers, and I think there's going to be a lot of Terminators in this game the way it's going. Ooh, Autark getting very low here, probably going to be taken out by the Vanguards in retreat. They do. Blood-Rain actually got to Tier 3, I didn't even notice. He used the Global to instantly summon some Seer Council. That could be pretty scary. Retreating in this instance, yeah, they're just isolated, fighting like 5 squads, it's not worth it. You've got to really respect the pressure that Sky Silver is putting on this VP. Constantly seems to be blue, and I imagine what he was doing here, before the very annoying kinetic pulse came in, he was just going to throw a grenade on the Rangers and hope that Adila was too busy looking in the mid with things like his Guardian. If he just instantly wipes out the Rangers, oh, that would be such a beautiful pick for him. But still, Red Team, man, they're bleeding way too much. For so long, they've both only been 4 units. But now, finally, Adila's getting some Seer Council out. I think he just used his Global as well because he's down on red. And I suspect that Cry is probably waiting for a Land Raider Redeemer at this point. If not, he should already have Terminators out. He doesn't quite have the wreck for the Terminators just yet. We'll see what choice he makes. Terminators would be great, but when you lack the Land Raider Redeemer, the problem is you're fighting Banshees and Seer Council, and there's a Doombringer as well. So if Blood-Rain catches those Terminators out of position, he can kill them with a melee very easily. And because he's fighting a Farseer, I'm looking at the wrong thing again. There's a Gravblade. Well, you know what? Gravblade is just as good as Doombringer, if not better against Terminators, because they can't retreat when you use the Gravblades, so then you can just melee them with impunity. But the other option that they could get now that they're in Tier 3, and I suspect it's going to come out soon, is the Time Field Armour on the Farseer. To be honest, you very rarely see this armour in 1v1 because it's Tier 3 and it's expensive. But man, you see it all the time in 2v2, 3v3 because it is busted. The ability to drop down an AoE ability at quite a long range with basically 0 counterplay that just stops the enemy attacking and reduces their movement speed? Come on, man, that is insane. Use that on Terminators who can't retreat, and then send your melee in? Good luck to the Terminators. So yes, as expected, we're not going to see Terminators, we're going to see the Land Raider Redeemer, and then Cry can get the Terminators later on once he has that to protect them. The Land Raider Redeemer is an amazing anti-melee tool, so it will certainly deter Seer Council and Howling Banshees, because those heavy flamers will melt those fragile Eldar infantry. Sky Silver, on the other hand, has opted for a Predator. I like this choice. I like it because of the position that he is in on the map. Nice little jump there from the Vanguard, finishing off the Farseer. Falcon comes around to try and support. I like this Predator because Predators are fast. Tanks are fast in this game. Fast attack is what they do. He can constantly send it down the side here when there's Warp Spiders, Rangers, Banshees trying to defend the VP, and force a real defense from the DOW2. I mean, Adila basically has nothing to deal with the Predator. He has the Haywire and he has Howling Banshees, but that alone should not be enough. Certainly with Tech Marine support. So it's going to be a pain in the ass. And if he tries to set up a Bright Lance down the side to protect his VP, well, Sky Silver's got double scouts with fully upgraded level 3, level 2 with infiltration. That Bright Lance is going to need some serious babysitting, or it's going to get blown up by those scouts. And then guess what? The Predator's rolling in again. So yeah, this is a pretty awkward position for the red team. But they've got the Land Raider now, and this could be all they need, to be fair. You know, you park your Land Raider up here. I think this is the best spot because of all the pressure that's coming onto the VP here. And then you just hold your 2 VPs and you win, right? But the other problem I see for red team is they don't have any artillery yet, so just holding this VP, I think it's going to be quite hard. And eventually, you know, the red is going to start building up. There's already enough red for an orbital bombardment here from Sky Silver, but I think something like a Vendread could be really effective actually, to just drop on the Land Raider and push the Land Raider really far back. There's a lot of AV here on the field for blue team, and honestly, looking at the compositions, I think I would rather be in blue team's shoes here right now. However, constant decaps of the VP can certainly change things. As I mentioned before, this is a common thing in 2v2, so we'll have to keep our eye on this VP with the Webboy Gate nearby. No Webboy Gates yet from Blood-Rain. Getting a bit of an engagement here, not really, they're just trying to deal with the scouts. Look at this again from Sky Silver, beautiful play, getting his Stern Guard down here on the VP, using their extra capping speed, and it looks like Adila hasn't noticed. The Rangers and the Guardians are getting kind of wrecked. Time Field does come down from Adila, no Time Field armor yet from the Farseer. Bit of a questionable usage of the Tech Marine there. I don't know if that was a misclick or what. Probably going in for an Orbs, but he moved way too far forward, just got wrecked. I think the red team are kind of pushing a little bit too hard right now. I don't think they need to be pushing this much. The Vanguard veterans, yeah, caught by the levitation field. There is a turret in the back line to support, and that is going to deter the Seer Council from getting too close. We're seeing the orbital bombardment coming down here from Sky Silver, but see, this is a problem. All the units can just get inside the Land Raider, and it might kill the Terminator Force Commander, but that is about it. Wow, the Vanguard veterans just ran into it. Did they just kill? Oh my god, the Vanguard veterans ran into the frigging... Wow. The Vanguard veterans ran into the orbital bombardment and blew themselves up. The Terminator Force Commander actually didn't die, was sent flying and then healed by the Spirit Stones, which is crazy. So he actually keeps... he's still alive, and he's just going to get on the VP. Man, the Terminator Force Commander is so good in team games, because you can't knock him over. Predator is not being used very well here. Nothing is dealing with the missile attacks. Oh, the final missile attack dies, but not before getting off the missile to kill the Predator, so the last cannon Predator goes down. What a scrap. You see the power of the Flamers here, forcing off the Banshees. But man, there's been a lot of losses here. Sky Silver has lost loads as well. Both sides losing loads. Adila is actually getting a Fire Prism, which, yeah, I like that, because right now they don't seem to have anything to deal with the Falcon, and it will also deal with these annoying turrets. But Blood-Rain's getting an Avatar. He has an Avatar. He isn't getting an Avatar. Blood-Rain has an Avatar. Not seeing any troops coming out from Adila yet to capture that VP. We definitely need to see that. Red team are very low on VPs now, only 77 VPs. Looks like the Warp Spiders for a long time were just decapping these points, but man... Oh, I just hate Warp Spiders in team games for this reason. It's just so awkward. Scouts just bullying them. Imagine your elite ranged infantry getting bullied by scouts. Adila really needs to start sending some troops through the Webboy Gates to decap these VPs. They need to accelerate their VP lead as soon as possible.
Artillery guns are ready to fire.
Sky Silver, honestly, testimony to him here. He's been doing great. constantly decapping this side of the map. Fortunately, he does run out of infiltration there because he has no more energy, so the Fire Prism is going to deter that push. Blood-Rain just scouting with the Rangers, trying to see what's going on. A bit of repair support coming in here from the single Guardian that Adila has. At this point, Cry has lost both of his scouts, so unfortunately there's not a lot of repair support for this Land Raider Redeemer. And the thing that I'm noticing is that Blood-Rain is accruing quite a lot of red. One good Eldritch Storm on this big fat target here and a nice timing push with the Avatar could spell the end for this Land Raider Redeemer. But it's okay for Adila. It's not over yet because Blood-Rain doesn't have the red yet. Bit of a optimistic play here with the Seer Council. I don't really know what he was doing there. I don't know why Adila didn't just send the Seer Council into the Webway Gate. Why does he not have like a Webway Gate over here or something? Especially because you're playing to the Farseer, they get the Webway Gate ability to increase speed and grant infiltration. It's amazing. They'll only pop up on the minimap for a few seconds and then you can get the decap. And that's all you need. You only need the decap. Oh, here we go again. Sky Silver with a perfect ambush. Right. Last Cannon Predator comes out, doing some huge damage to the Fire Prism, but the Haywire does come in. It's going to turn off the guns on that Predator. It's getting its extra armor for HP. We'll have to see what's going to happen with that. Scouts have got the decap, but they now have to retreat. We've got a bit of a scrap going on in the mid. Levitation Field comes down and lifts up Adila's Banshees, whilst the Seer Council and the Banshees of Blood-Rain are going into the thick of things. But the problem is that Lightning Claw Terminator is in position, and he is doing some serious work with those special attacks that do splash damage and his battle cry. Who is winning here? Wow, Blood-Rain seems to be winning, kind of. So Adila's Banshees have to retreat back to the Land Raider. Now the Seer Council are. Blood-Rain's Farseer went down, and what is going on here? Okay, the Avatar's taking huge damage. Lightning Claw Terminators as well as Lightning Claw Terminator Force Commander. So the Avatar's going to go down, but it looks like the Terminators might even go down. This is really close. The problem is that the Terminators are right next to the Land Raider. No, they can't do it. The Seer Council have to run away. The Terminators can get in the Land Raider to get extra heals. Meanwhile, down here, it looks like the Scouts were forced off, but not wiped out. You can never wipe out Sky Silver's Scouts. Well, one of them did get wiped out. And the Tech Marine is just going to go onto the VP and not really care about these Guardians, because he's level 5, he's got the Refractor Shield, he is tanky as hell. Why does he care? He doesn't. And wow, these Terminators just reinforcing off the Land Raider, getting the extra healing from the Land Raider, they are a pain in the arse. Terminator Force Commander, on the other hand, does need to retreat. A little bit of pressure coming in onto the Falcon from the lone missile attack. I think the missile attack was a bit fearful of the Banshees there, but they do have to retreat after they get the Doom on them. Wow, a very brave push there from the Lightning Claw Terminators. What's going on down here now? Okay, so the Seer Council have come out. They're trying to put pressure on the Tech Marine, but man, that Tech Marine's so tanky, and he's in a really awkward position here where only one Seer Council can actually melee him, so he's taking forever to force off. The Predator moves out. It tries to put some pressure onto the Land Raider Redeemer, but Adila does well supporting with the Fire Prism in the backlines to push the Predator back. Now, what happened here? The Terminator with the Lightning Claws have gone back into the Land Raider. My god, so many Banshees dying. The Eldritch Storm is dropped by Blood-Rain, and a moment of hesitation comes out from from Cry, but he actually dodges it perfectly in spite of that moment of hesitation. And wow, that is a bit of a throw from Blood-Rain, getting desperate clearly, and I don't think he needed to. There's plenty of time left. You've got Gates, and Sky is doing an absolutely brilliant job harassing on this side of the map. However, Adila has managed to force off most of the troops here. The Tech Marine himself has gone down. There is still a Predator, but there's actually another Fire Prism for Adila. I have to assume that was a different one. Maybe it isn't. It got healed up very quickly, but I guess Fire Prisms don't have that much HP. So Cry at this point owns the natural VP of Blood-Rain and is keeping him base locked, utilising the tankiness of the Land Raider Redeemer. Meanwhile, they are not able to get out onto this part of the map. We've got double Predators right now for Sky Silver, but the problem is he has no infantry unit to decap the natural VP. This is quite the disaster, I'm afraid, for the blue team. Sky Silver putting up a valiant effort here with the double Predators, does manage to push Adila back, but it doesn't matter because the game comes down to VPs, as it so often does, especially in team games. And so the blue team run out of VPs, and in spite of the fact that BloodRayne was trapped in his base and that Crisis was orbitally bombarding him, it doesn't matter. There's nothing that they can do. Cry did a really good job there in the end actually with his Land Raider, really nice Land Raider play. I think BloodRayne messing up that Eldritch was kind of killer. You know, if he hit that Eldritch flush and he wiped out that Land Raider, there would have been very little support here for the Terminators, and you probably could have just rushed past them and decapped the VP. Then again, that probably wouldn't be enough anyway, because at the end of the day, Red Team would have still had both of these points. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think at that point, basically, it was over. There was nothing that could be done. Just comes down to some vital engagements at the end. But there you go, guys. That was a 2v2. You don't see them very often. I am willing to cast 2v2s, especially if they're epic games like this. So do join the Discord down below and submit those 2v2s. If you appreciate the content, please leave a like down below and leave a comment to support me in fighting off that crazy YouTube algorithm. Thanks for tuning in, folks. That is going to be all from your boy, STD. Torpid out.